Hi, I'm Naomi May. I'm a fashion editor and we are here today with the SATCoL podcast, The Sustainable Conversation. And joining us today, we have television and radio presenter Olivia Cox and professional cook and runner-up of the Great British Bake Off, Crystelle Pereira. Guys, welcome to The Sustainable Conversation.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Of course, thank you for being here. So can we start with you guys telling me what being sustainable means to you?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, really good question. I think for me, there's so many facets. I think obviously food is front and center for me. And I think it can be so many things, but I would always say it's less about perfection and it's more about intention. And it's just having those intentions. So whether it's reducing food waste, using a bag for life, eating seasonally, and just doing little things I can that will help. And like I said, it's not about living a perfect life, but just incorporating small bits into my everyday life, whether it's cooking or it's thrifting, and just doing things that I can to play my part.
And I know you're a big thrifter. Can you tell us a story of your shirt that you're wearing today?
So thrifting, I guess, is a bit of a great term because for me, thrifting also means just raiding my family's wardrobe. This shirt is my mum's. And I love going through her wardrobe because I think there comes a point where your mum's fashion, and I would sometimes look at old photos of my mum and I'll say, Mum, this outfit is so cool, where is it? And then I'll raid her wardrobe. So yeah, love the shirt, my mum's, and I wear it all the time. I also just love a white shirt. You've also got a white shirt. And I just think there's they become really nice capsule pieces that you can wear again and again. And that's the things that I like is buying staples that will always be in your wardrobe and you can dress them up, dress them down. And it's a great thing to have.
And what about you, Olivia? What does being sustainable mean to you?
I think, to be honest, I would just mainly agree. I think it's the small tweaks that I make in every day. I mean, I'm not making grand gestures, but things like using a laundry bag when I'm washing my activewear so there's less microplastics, or donating clothes, which I think we've come a long way with. I think it's not as difficult as it used to be to go and knock on the door of a charity shop. I also think because I buy quite a lot of secondhand clothes, which is again so much more accessible now and more kind of accepted with like resale fridges or vintage or anything like that. And I too do delve into my mother and sister's wardrobe, but they don't know. So.
And when you're in the public eye, there's kind of pressure to not wear things more than once and to be seen to always be wearing something new. How do you kind of counteract that and try and make as sustainable choices as you can?
I think for me, I just embrace outfit repeating. I think there's so much pressure on that, but actually, I think it just needs to be normalised more. And this is why media and social media is so important, because there's nothing wrong with outfit repeating. And actually, the more people do it, the more other people think, oh, okay, that's fine. And I think the reason why there is a stigma attached to it is because it was like shamed in the media for so many years. Oh, this person's worn this dress again. But actually, if the tone of media changes to, oh, look, this person has worn this dress again, great, it actually becomes so refreshing. So I just kind of do things unashamedly. And sometimes I'll post an outfit and I'll say, I've worn this suit so many times, but I love it. I love a two-piece suit. And the reason why I love a suit is because you can do so many things with it. You can wear it as a suit. You can wear the trousers with a different top. You can wear the blazer with something else. You can wear it with trainers and a t-shirt. You can wear it with heels and a shirt. There's just so many ways of doing it. And I'll always repeat the same things, and I'll always make a point of it. So yeah, I think it's just about kind of being a little bit, just not having shame and just doing things kind of, without any fear really, and normalising it.
And I actually quite like the mindset of having your pieces in your wardrobe that you can wear with, like you say, wear with different things. That kind of idea of a capsule wardrobe where you've got that shirt that you love, those trousers that you love. I actually think that's
also,
quite helpful.
I think sort of the kind of fail-safe pieces, something that makes you feel really good, you like how it looks, and that doesn't necessarily have to be with the same shoes, hair, makeup. I mean, we're lucky we can change so many different things if we want a bit more variety. I mean, I am also all for completely repeating an outfit. I think there's absolutely something quite glorious about that. But yeah, a different pair of shoes, a different hairstyle, it can completely change the vibe of a dress.
And Olivia, I know that part of the work that you do is creating content for brands. How do you figure out which brands' values align most closely with your own?
I think when it comes to brands, the more transparent a brand is about their processes and their policy, the better. And the more likely it is then that it's going to align with my own personal beliefs, values, standards. So there are so many brands out there who have great incentives for recycling. You know, you can take a pair of shoes in from any brand and you'll get some sort of credit. Or there are brands that use recycled plastic bottles, or it's actually very easy to find brands that are doing something. It's almost harder now to find a brand that, or you probably know the ones that are doing absolutely nothing. So generally when a brand approaches me, we will have quite aligned feelings on that, I think.
And we've spoken about how much we love raiding the women in our lives' wardrobes. What are some of your go-to hacks when you're putting together an outfit if you are borrowing from someone else's wardrobe?
Borrowing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Well, yeah. Well, first one is if I'm borrowing from my sister, I usually don't tell her. I always think it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. But I think it's always nice to have, and this also applies when you're shopping as well, is always have an idea in mind of what you want, because then you can end up impulse buying or impulse raiding. But I think, so if you've got an event thinking, okay, what do I need or what can I add to my outfit? And then just look for that specific thing. And more often than not, that thing is there. So yeah, for example, I just wanted like a white shirt. And there was a white shirt. So yeah, I think having an idea in mind is really helpful because it just streamlines that process. And yeah, it just stops you from just getting too much.
What about you, Olivia?
Well, I just think there's something so exciting about going into someone else's wardrobe. It's a bit like when you go into the fridge at my home. I know what's in there. I went shopping. I know I bought nothing fun. I go into mum and dad's fridge and it's like...
There's everything.
Hummus, olive, it's brilliant. So same principle going into mum or my sister's or dad's, if I want a T-shirt, wardrobe. And I think when I'm on a raid, it'll be more looking for something to twist up or accessorize something that I'm already wearing, because I already have my basics that I love and I just want to make it a bit of a twist. And I think that's what's so glorious about either secondhand or borrowing, because it's someone else's personality. They've made that decision to buy that. And then I kind of borrow it for the day or week, month.
I actually also really like borrowing from men's T-shirts, shirts, blazers.
Yeah.
I really like that kind of boxy, quite androgynous fit. I think that's really cool, especially if you're kind of raiding somewhere for something. And what are some conscious things that both of you have as part of your daily routines that you do to try and be more sustainable?
I think for me, there's quite a few things, but really small day-to-day things, like I was mentioning before, that you don't even think, are super sustainable, but using a bag for life. I can't remember the last time I used a plastic shopping bag. Always use a bag for life, always use a keep cup. I always carry a big 1 litre water bottle with me, and I'll always find a water fountain to fill it up. That's just, a few things like that. I try and eat as seasonally as possible, just because if you think about fruit in season, it means that the carbon footprint is going to be a lot shorter, because if you eat fruit that's in season, it's going to be grown locally, which is amazing. So locally and seasonally is really important. Minimizing food waste, things like broccoli stems. I did not realise that people didn't know you could eat broccoli stems. Broccoli stems is just as tasty as broccoli. And actually, and even the same with cauliflower leaves. There's so many bits of fruits and vegetables that you can eat. And also, your freezer is your best friend. Freeze stuff. Like if you think, if you're going away and something might go off, put it in the freezer, because you can always defrost your food, and it just reduces waste. And also trying not to eat things that are super, super processed, because again, if something is highly processed, it's going to use loads of energy in that process. So actually, food that is kind of more whole foods and trying to make things from scratch. I know a lot of us don't have time, but there are lots of easy recipes. And if you're going to make your own food, it's just going to be better for the environment and also just better for you as well.
I think social media can really help with giving you the pointers of how to minimise your food waste, how to bring it all down and back in line. What about you, Olivia? What's one conscious thing you have as part of your routine?
I mean, I again, I agree with you, because it's all those small things. And actually, if we weren't having this conversation, I probably wouldn't, every day when I pick up my water bottle and I fill it up, I'm not necessarily thinking, oh, I'm being sustainable, I'm helping. It's just convenient. It's just something I do. It's my routine. I mentioned earlier that I do use laundry bags when I'm washing my activewear. I wash it cold as well, because that means it's less likely or fewer of the microplastics are going to get into the water. So not all brands, but a lot of athleisure has a lot of microplastic in it. It's the nature of it. You want a little bit of lycra. But there are things you can do. So you can also have filters in your, I always get these confused, washing machine, dishwasher, washing machine. And actually some countries have now brought that in as standard. But you can buy, I don't have a filter, but you can, or you can buy these laundry bags. But yeah, small tweaks. I cycle more than I do get public transport if I can. If I'm going to the gym, I won't get on public transport, I'll cycle because it's part of the workout. Small tweaks.
And Olivia, following on from your point just there, how can people continue to make more conscious decisions when it comes to their clothing?
So with clothing, I think we've got such a great opportunity because it can be worn again and again, and it can find someone else's wardrobe. Someone else starts to wear it. So I myself am a massive hoarder, and I really struggle to part with pieces that I love. I don't want to part with them. I don't necessarily ever want to wear them again, but they're still sat in my wardrobe, and I will periodically go into my wardrobe and almost under duress try and pull things out and eventually get together a few bags of clothes that I'm ready to donate. And there are so many options at that point where you go with it. So on one of my raids, I have a textile bank near me, so I donated to SATCoL, and I like that thought that someone else will get enjoyment and love out of that.
Definitely.
And actually, I guess on the other side of that, I have rented clothes quite a few times because I have lots of friends and they'll do these really lavish Indian weddings, and for that you need the specific type of traditional wear that I don't really wear. So I think, well, instead of me buying outfits for all these weddings that I'll wear once and never wear again, you can actually rent them. So you rent this gorgeous outfit and then you send it back. So again, like you were saying, people have these outfits that actually will get so much use from someone else, and again, you're not making more outfits, and it sort of stops that mass consumerism. So I think it's a really nice way of being a bit sustainable. There's so much out there.
There is, and there are so many pointers too. And sustainability is so the kind of world that sustainability kind of encompasses can be so loud. What's one sustainable thing that people could adopt into their daily lives?
This is so basic, but using your recycling bin and your compost more. So many people don't, and the amount of times I go to people's houses and they just don't use recycling. It's there in black and white, and it's made so easy for us. I think we just need to be a bit stricter with it. Just put your food scraps in the compost, put your papers in the recycling bin, put your bottles in the recycling bin. And I just think if we're a little bit stricter, I just think we can make such a difference because, yeah, from what I've seen, I was quite shocked at how many people don't take that seriously enough. And I think it's just something that we can fit into our day-to-day lives that's super easy.
I would just say buy what you love. Don't be trend-led. Buy something that brings you happiness, joy, love, pleasure, and keep it and wear it. Actually wear what you buy. Because I think it's so easy to see these trend-led things and I want everything looks amazing, and you get it, but then next week, oh, they did that in a different colour, oh, I want that. And we're so into immediate gratification. Slow down, look at what you've got, love what you've got, and then if you want to accessorise, you've probably got that too.
Because that kind of plays into that idea of overconsumption, and we just need more and more and more. And actually, you're right, you don't. Just take a look at what you've got and take stock. Yeah. And clothes banks are amazing and a total revelation. But did you know that you can also donate your clothes for free at an InPost locker in partnership with SATCoL?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's insane. It also makes life so much easier because a big part of donating clothes is you never know where to send them to, but in-post lockers are literally everywhere.
They're on every corner.
And it's free. That's great.
Yeah,
I will be doing that now.
Very handy.
And what is one sustainable thing that people can incorporate into their daily routines to help make their lives a little bit more conscious?
I think if you find a good tailor, it's so helpful just for repairing clothes, or say if you've either, something doesn't fit as well, you can actually just mend them instead of buying something in another size or another colour. Finding someone who can just repair your clothes or tweak them a little bit or make them a bit more kind of, if the fashions have changed and you want to change a hem or something, it's such a game changer. And even if there's so many shops like wedding dresses, that's usually something you would wear once in your life. So many wedding dress companies, you can actually give your dress back and they can turn it into a party dress, which is insane. I think it's such a good idea.
I love that.
Yeah, so I think repairing, upcycling, that whole idea is just such a great thing to do. And it's really fun and sustainable.
Yeah, or even you could do it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, I'm sure my grandmother used to darn socks and this sort of thing, and I'm not quite suggesting that, but if the hem comes loose or if you've got a hole in something and it's quite small, stitch it. Bond a web.
And I think it's that also, people love vintage clothing because it tells a story. And actually, if you're taking something as special and sentimental as your wedding dress and turning it into another gorgeous dress that you'll wear so much, it just adds to that story and it adds to that lifespan of the clothes, which is so special.
Yeah, definitely. I actually think it was it the BAFTAs recently? And I'm sure there were 2 ladies who wore their wedding dresses to the BAFTAs. Which was really cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I think someone changed theirs a little bit. But I think someone just wore their wedding dress as their wedding dress, but obviously did a bit of different hairstyling and stuff. So you wouldn't really tell it was a wedding dress. But I think that's so lovely. And again, it's that idea of normalising it and the media setting this tone of it's okay to rewear and it's actually encouraged. And I think I found it super inspiring. So
I think it's amazing. Also, I think you touched on this, Olivia. It's so much about accessorising anyway. So if you want to, you do your hair up and you wear different jewellery and you can just totally change the way that something looks anyway.
It's wild how much that can change something. I mean, just look at how you look and feel before and after you've done your hair and makeup. What if you just tried a different style?
Or a bolder lipstick or something, or, did your hair up.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you
Olivia
for having
and
us.
Crystelle, on the Sustainable Conversation.